Good evening. This is Nationwide on a network service of the NTAi. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Ruth Aguele, and you know it's Women's Day, so we're starting on that note. International Women's Day, we know, is a global event instituted to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality as well as highlighting the problems women face in day-to-day life and in the professional environment. In this special report, NTAi takes a look at the 2021 celebration in the face of COVID-19 pandemic.
International Women's Day is traced back to 1909, with the first gathering in 1911, supported by over 1 million women. Since then, it has been celebrated world over to help forge a gender-equal world. Collectively, we can all help create a peaceful society devoid of violence and promote the economic growth of our women.
Let every woman lift another woman up. It's not about how many women are in position, but how many women all of us individually and collectively can lift up, especially the women in the rural areas.
The narrative for women in Nigeria, because the women in Nigeria will lead and blaze the trail for Africa and for the world. And here I'm saying this because it is not often that you will get so many women at the helm of affairs that are Nigerian.
The theme also urges everyone to recognize the leadership skills and potentials of women towards moving the world closer to gender equality. And for Nigerian women, it was time to celebrate one of their own who is leading the global business world.
The first female, the first African to head the WTO, a daughter of the sun, in the person of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We'll continue to celebrate you too.
Gender advocates say increasing visibility is key while fighting inequality in the society. The campaign theme, #I chose to challenge, comes with a question: how will you help to forge a gender equal world?
NTAi there. And let's talk more on International Women's Day. I have with me in the studio Binta Ibrahim. She's a public relations officer for National Council of Women's Societies. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. Happy International Women's Day.
Okay, so year in, year out, we get to see this day, talking about the International Women's Day. You know, there's been a lot of advocacy promoting women's rights, gender equality and all of that. But looking at this year, what does it say to you, especially with the theme, Choose to Challenge?
Thank you very much. Happy Women's Day in Nigeria. I'm here to represent my national president, Chief Dr. Gloria Narabashoda. As you all know, as you said, every year we celebrate the International Women's Day. It's a day of celebration because we celebrate women from all aspects of scope of their jobs, you know, be it economical, be it social, be it political and cultural, you know. So this year's theme is very important because we are out to challenge ourselves. We are out to say no to gender-based violence, and we are out to empower ourselves, to lift ourselves as women. No more laying back, no more sitting at the edge. We are there to lift ourselves.
Okay, and if we want to look at women's commitment and nation building, taking a cue from the theme for this year, which is choose to challenge biases, you know, choose to question stereotypes and also acknowledge the achievements of women. How far has women, you know, done in terms of commitment if we look at nation building in Nigeria?
There's a lot of commitment, as you can see. A lot of women are not, as I said earlier, are not sitting on the bench anymore. With social media now, a lot of women, their voices are being heard. Any slightest opportunity a woman has now, she knows how to go about it, to put it out there. So from the National Council of Women's Societies, we've been doing a lot of advocacy. Advocacy in the sense that if you look at what happens when we had the lockdown, there's a lot of issues concerning rape.
Yes.
because I think at that time, people are in the house, the men are there, not going out and the rest. So a lot of rape issues were being recorded. We've been able to strengthen the girls to be able to educate them in knowing their rights and then in knowing how to protect themselves when it comes to such issues. A lot of there's positivity in even the lockdown, because a lot of women now taking the advantage of the internet to market their goods. They're all there. You can see a pepper seller, tomato seller using the internet. So I would say that the challenge is being taken positively by Nigerian women.
And if we want to look at positivity, if I take you back to sexual violence and exploitation you mentioned, which we saw glare, especially last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, would you say that, women's rights are being defended, are being protected? Have we moved a little bit more?
Yes, we have. We have. Unlike before, that you can hardly notice even what is happening. We have not really gotten there, but we have moved several steps ahead. As it is now, immediately a rape incident is discussed. You see, it's almost everywhere, and the women groups are not taking it easy. They are not taking it lightly. They were there. We communicate, and that alone assists us with government intervention. That alone, because we are not quiet, the government now knows what is happening, even in the grassroots.
Okay, so let's not leave out the little ones, talking about our girl child, our children. We see a number of them out of school. And there's also this projection or rather concerns by UNICEF on early child marriages, which is also as a result of the challenges, mothers go through, which affects, their children. What should we begin to do if we have to correct that notion?
Well, under the able leadership of the National Council of Women's Societies, we are section where in all the 774 local governments, that has been one of our topmost advocacy. That is what we've been doing. Because for now, the core area of where we normally looked at gets the problem of early marriage is the far north. But with the intervention of the council, a lot of sensitization have been going on, and then parents are beginning to understand that girls are supposed to be educated. They're beginning to understand that early marriage does not, I'm not trying to be quoted, but early marriage are not the way to go now, because everything is evolving, everything is changing. So from the councils, we are partnering with other groups like minds, and we're achieving success through that.
Thank you very much. And of course, if we have to close that gap, there will be productivity and growth.
Yes.
All right, thank you. She is Hajia Binta Ibrahim, Public Relations Officer with National Council of Women's Society. Thank you once again, and enjoy the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Happy Women's Day once more.
Thank you. All right, the euphoria, of course, is still very much in the air. A day set aside to celebrate women. Now, this year's celebration provides an ample opportunity to reflect on how President Muhammadu Buhari honors the women folk. Here's a checklist of the women in the present administration as outlined in the statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina.
The celebration of International Women's Day highlights the economic, social and political advances made by women and girls all over the world, recognizing the critical role of women in governance structures, security and peace-building efforts, as well as in all aspects of life. President Muhammadu Buhari, since inception, has given priority to women participation in his government. At the moment, there are 7 women ministers holding sensitive ministries and working assiduously towards socio-economic development of Nigeria. Women remain a galvanizing force and continue to provide support for the men in all areas of development. The economy of Nigeria that is receiving such a boost now is headed by a woman, Zainab Ahmed, who combines finance with budget and national planning. The head of the civil service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, is leading the engine room of governance, supported by many women, special advisors, and senior special assistants and special assistants in the presidency. The president did Nigerian women proud, addressing the challenges threatening the efforts to promote the empowerment of women, gender equality, and balance in all aspects of national life. This is manifest in the large number of women chief executives heading various organizations and agencies of government. Even though the 8th of March is the day set aside by the United Nations for this celebration, every nation is enjoined globally to observe the day and draw a locally relevant theme from the main international theme. The international theme for 2020 is Choose to Challenge.
In the same vein, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has felicitated with Nigerian women as they celebrate this year's International Women's Day. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ola Awoni. Senator Lawan described the theme of this year's celebration, which is Choose to Challenge, as apt in reminding society of the pivotal roles women play in the family and nation building and the need to pay attention to the challenges confronting them. He noted that Nigerian women also deserve support and encouragement to participate without discrimination or inhibitions in governance and public affairs in general. The Senate President said the National Assembly will always promote and defend the rights and interests of the Nigerian women and fight anything that stands against their well-being and aspirations. Well, the world has seen a rollback in the hard-won advances in women's rights. Now is the time to build an equal future, which is the job for everyone, for the benefit of everyone, of course. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this as the world marks 2021 International Women's Day. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Women, many agree, are essential workers that are keeping people alive and holding economies, communities and families together. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said they are among the leaders who have kept prevalence rates lower and countries on track for recovery from COVID-19. He said this year's International Women's Day is dedicated to highlight the transformative power of women's equal participation in nation building.
Pandemic recovery is our chance to leave behind generations of exclusion and inequalities. Mothers, especially single mothers, have faced acute anxiety and adversity. The consequences will far outlast the pandemic. Gender equality is essentially a question of power, and males are an essential part of the solution.
Meanwhile, a new analysis released on the International Women's Day by the International Children's Emergency Fund of the United Nations, UNICEF, highlighted the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on efforts to fight child marriage in the world, expressing the fear that 10 million additional child marriages may occur before the end of the decade.
On this International Women's Day, let's be inspired by their determination. Let's expand investments and training programs that help more girls take control over their lives and futures. Let's stand with them today to build the girl force of tomorrow.
The UN agency recommended immediate action to mitigate the toll on girls and their families by implementing effective laws and policies such as sexual and reproductive health services and comprehensive social protection measures for families. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTAi News.
There is no gainsaying that the COVID-19 pandemic pushed the world to exploring the best of human resources to survive the virus, and women, comprising 70% of global health workforce, were on the front line with the successes of their contribution to combating the pandemic. And as the world celebrates women, Speaker, ECOWAS Parliament Sidi Mohamed Tunis wants a new thinking which will consider how far the world would have become if women had been in leadership as much as men. NTAi Fineface has more to tell us.
ECOWAS Parliament Amazons, comprising female members of staff and parliamentarians, are making the best of the day as they join the campaign for 2021 International Women's Day, which is Choose to Challenge. Now, this campaign, they say, goes beyond the recurrent mantra for gender equality. Rather, it is a wake-up call for women to challenge existing status quo that inhibits them from achieving their dreams, and in so doing, cause the change needed to give them a pride of place in all human endeavors.
That women possess strong magic that can change the world. The woman is everything in the home, in the office, in the world. Without the women, there is no world.
Speaker Sidi Mohammed Tunis believes that years after the establishment of the ECOWAS Parliament, the region can now brace for the emergence of a female speaker who will be given the needed support by all citizens. ECOWAS Parliament, he said, has been in support of the affirmation policy, which requires minimum of 30% female representatives.
Article 63 of the ECOWAS Treaty on Women and Development calls on the member states to formulate, harmonize, coordinate and establish appropriate policies and mechanisms for the enhancement of the economic, social and cultural conditions of women.
In celebrating women this year, ECOWAS Parliament is encouraging member states to implement the 30% affirmative action on female representation to further boost their participation in leadership. In Abuja, Onengie Fine Face, NTAi News.
And as women across the globe grapple with socio-economic, political and security challenges, Nigerian women have been tasked to pay critical attention to their health, which is utmost to their existence. This was the message to Nigerian women by a concerned group in Abuja in commemoration of the 2021 International Women's Day. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Statistics on cancer by the World Health Organization show that approximately 70% of deaths occur in low and middle income countries, and the disease is responsible for about 10 million deaths every year. At the celebration of the International Women's Day, concerned groups are advocating improved health care for women with keen emphasis on cancer, especially breast and cervical cancers.
Practicing safe sex, very important. Getting vaccinated for those cancers that can be prevented. Continuous advocacy program to people in the community, both rural and urban centers.
We have to take care of our health, and we have to help the women to take care of their health. We are talking about COVID. Fine, COVID is there, but cancer is killing a lot of women.
As cancer remains the second cause of death, medical experts are worried about the rising figures as they identified late presentation by patients as a major challenge.
Cervical cancer is 100% curable, provided it is detected early.
Women should be given the opportunity to go places and go higher in life.
As they take the challenge to end cancer, about 50 women will be screened for free as part of efforts to reduce cancer in Nigeria. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTAi News.
All right, let's go on a break, but when we return, we'll be joining Michael in Lagos, so you stay tuned.
Wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We know happy at all.
me, and I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too.
We are trying, Shao.
Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that is why I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTAi International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTAi International, Africa's window to the world.
Thanks for joining us in Lagos. On the 6th of March, 20 auto parts shops in Owodionere Motor Spare Parts Market in Lagos were razed by fire. Although no life was lost, but property worth millions of naira were destroyed. Dana Jale, who was at the scene during an assessment visit, now reports.
All that was left after the fire outbreak was the burnt remains of goods, as the motor spare parts dealers and shop owners are still in shock over the inferno. As at the time of the visit, people on ground kicked against sharing their views with us about the mysterious fire incident. Director General, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, who was on a primary survey visit, advised Nigerians, especially those in the market areas, to be more conscious of flammable materials to prevent reoccurrence loss of lives and property.
We should realize that we are now in dry season, and we should be safety conscious. They need to put a lot of safety measures in this place so that we will not have the reoccurrence. And we will call in the fire services, the safety commission, to come and work with the officials in here. They have to build their capacity to prevent and also how to respond to any form of emergency.
Data by the Lagos State government shows that between January and February 2021, over 20 fire outbreaks have been recorded across the metropolis. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTAi News.
Now, a civil society group, Projects for Human Development, has called on the Nigerian government to resist pressure from any country to legalize same-sex marriage as a condition for foreign aid. Dotun Ogunyemi reports.
Joe Biden was elected President of the United States of America. There was an euphoria among Nigerians, both home and abroad, that his coming into power will bring good tidings, especially in relation to Nigeria's foreign policy, security, immigration, trade, and many more. That aspiration by many Nigerians has been attached to a condition for Nigeria and other countries who require foreign aid or assistance from the United States, which is not to discriminate against same-sex marriage as a way of life.
People in the world are becoming homosexuals and lesbians.
This forum is strongly condemning the stand of the United States and urged the Nigerian government not to bow to the pressure of the West.
If the US or any other country is bent on stopping to give us financial assistance simply because we have declared LGBTQI illegal in Nigeria, that country can go ahead.
The group called on parents to harp on moral and religious teachings for their children or wards.
So it's very, very important that we need to stand our ground. And it comes to the fact that Africa, we need to stand up and start being a producing country.
Sociologists will tell you that the basic unit of society is the family. Once you destroy the family, which is the bedrock of society, you have destroyed and undermined that society.
The civil society group also commended the National Assembly for the passage of the Anti-Gay Law 2011 and the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act of 2014. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTAi News.
That is it from here. We now take you back to Ruth in Abuja for more stories.
Thanks, Michael. The plight of widows and vulnerable women continues to gain more attention from volunteers, especially following the onset of COVID-19 and the harsh economic realities that followed. And in commemoration of this year's International Women's Day, a non-governmental organization, Helpline Foundation for the Needy, is empowering indigent women with skills acquisition and financial aid to reduce the effects of the pandemic. Olusheye Adiagbo tells us more.
Vulnerable women targeted through this project will have access to better employment opportunities through various skill-building workshops and sessions with focus on production of handbag, azar, and room freshener, as well as liquid soap, among others. Rebecca Samuel is a widow of 4 years and mother of 5. She said she has been fending for the family with the frying of bean cake, and this has not been sufficient for the family.
Today I can't learn hazard. So it will help me to settle. If I go house by the grace of God, next week I will start this as so that I should add it to Accra.
Esther Kendi was one of the beneficiaries of the program in 2017, but now she is one of the facilitators, motivating about 100 women picked across the FCT, Nasarawa and Niger State.
By the time they go back to their communities and then they are able to train the women in these communities, we can see that it has a multiplier effect that ensures that more hundreds of women are actually empowered within a very limited period of time.
The belief of the founder of the Helpline Foundation for the Needy, Dr. Jume Amaju and partners, is that more concentration is to be given to women at the grassroots.
Based on the needs assessment that we carried out to ensure that the skills we are impacting in them is what they can actually go to their community to put to use and also have their market within their environment.
Women do not have the heart to leave their children to roam around doing nothing. But if you empower her, she can be able to achieve a lot and her home will be at peace.
The International Women's Day 2021 is with the hashtag Choose to Challenge, and the commemoration of the day is fixed for 8th March.
I choose to challenge all forms of discrimination against women and girls.
The theme for this year is Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTAi News.
Nigeria's Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is 84, and so President Muhammadu Buhari 64, and so President Muhammadu Buhari and other personalities identified with him for the accomplishments he achieved in his life. Here's the compilation of the goodwill messages.
His birthday message, President Muhammadu Buhari described Vice President Yemi Osinbajo as a reliable and dedicated deputy who is not only admirably competent but also exudes confidence and passion in the performance of his job. As the Vice President turns 64, President Buhari said he is proud to have selected Osinbajo as his running mate, and he has given a good account of himself since their journey began in 2015. According to the president, the vice president is a cool-headed gentleman who puts the interests of Nigeria above other narrow considerations. President Buhari also noted that Vice President Osinbajo is an incredibly patient politician who demonstrates remarkable intellectual and mental energy in the discharge of his duties. And the President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, also in a statement celebrates what he calls an erudite lawyer, intellectual giant, respected religious leader, and distinguished administrator in the person of Vice President Osinbajo. He prays that God Almighty will continue to imbue him with wisdom and good health as he ably supports President Muhammadu Buhari in their patriotic mission to transform Nigeria and unite its people in happiness and prosperity. Also, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, said Osinbajo has been a patriot and democrat whose services to his fatherland have been commendable, particularly since he became the Vice President in 2015. He noted that the VP has for many decades dedicated himself to serving humanity as a lawyer, teacher, clergy, and a politician of repute. Gbajabiamila recalled the fond memories of Professor Osinbajo's laudable contributions to the development of Lagos State when the VP served as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice for 8 years, from 1999 to 2007. In the meantime, APC national leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu joined the family, friends and associates of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on his birthday, praying for many more productive years and the best of health for the Vice President. Tinubu said the VP has exemplified the best traits of a public servant who strives to do his best for the nation.
Concerned about growing agitation from business community on the need to reopen the international wing of the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport for business activities to thrive, some members of the House of Representatives from Kano and Jigawa states, led by Majority Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa, have visited the airport for an on-the-spot assessment with a view to bringing the airport back to life. Awal Salisu reports.
The visit to the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport by members of the House of Representatives is to facilitate and find out the critical challenges impending the resumption of the international flights operation. Led by the Majority Leader of the House, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, expressed concern over the hardship experienced by people from Northwest when traveling for business, medical or educational trips.
Based on our interaction last week with the Minister, we've been quite comfortable. The Minister has comforted us with a lot of words of encouragement, trying to really achieve this objective of our people. The next thing is that we now tell our people that for what we have seen, it is like there is no issue here. The only issue is about health challenge, which of course government is much more concerned about it.
Managing Director of Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Hamis Yadudu, said the closure of the international wing of the airport is in line with the measures observed the world over to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic.
And we're working very hard to ensure that we resolve the health concerns using appropriate measures to protect our stakeholders, all stakeholders. So once these health concerns are resolved, this airport shall be reopened to international operations as soon as possible, much sooner than you think.
He said airports in Nigeria will continue to abide by international guidelines to ensure security and safety at all times. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTAi News.
And from Kano, we're going right away to Maiduguri to join Abubakar. Abubakar?
It's really good to see you, Ruth, and thanks for joining us. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has fished out 650 ghost IDPs out of the 1,100 taking refuge at the Mohammed Goni College of Legal and Islamic Studies IDPs camp. This followed a surprise midnight visit to the camp by the governor, who personally conducted a head count to establish the actual number of the resident IDPs. Mohammed Goni completes the story.
The camp where the exercise was conducted houses IDPs from Abadam local government of Northern Borno Senatorial District. Governor Bagana Umara immediately sealed the entrance and supervised a head count to identify actual IDPs in order to put a stop to rampant cases of dubious residents pretending to be displaced, who spend the daytime at IDPs camps to share food meant for IDPs, and towards the night they return to their homes to sleep, with some of them benefiting from other means through which the state distributes food to vulnerable non-IDPs in communities. Governor Zulum's mission, which ended past 1 o'clock in the morning, discovered that out of the 1,000 households in the record of humanitarian officials, 650 households were ghosts. 450 households were found to be real IDPs after the governor's midnight head count, which was conducted alongside an official of National Emergency Management Agency, Air Commodore NTAi Abdullahi, and the Commissioners of Agriculture and Local Government and Emirate Affairs. A household normally consists of at least 6 persons who are either related through families or chosen to stay together for the purpose of receiving household aid. Officials who were part of the midnight head count said Governor Zulum was not averse to approving support for any citizens who may be vulnerably in need of food, since there is a committee doing that. However, the governor is vehemently opposed to some residents making dubious claim to take what is meant for IDPs, while also benefiting from other existing welfare activities that targets non-IDPs. In Maiduguri, Ahmad Goni, NTAi News.
This year's International Women's Day in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, was observed with empowering of over 300 vulnerable women to enable them become self-reliant. Memuna Garba has more on that.
The 2021 International Women's Day with the theme Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in COVID-19 World was celebrated in grand style as wife of the Borno State Governor, Dr. Falmata Babagana Umara Zulum, supported vulnerable women with empowerment kits to start up businesses of their own. The 300 women comprised of food vendors, tailors, petty traders, and hairdressers, among others. The empowerment support, according to the wife of Borno State Governor, Dr. Falmata Babagana, is to help them cushion the effect of COVID-19, during which women have contributed and supported their immediate families. While acknowledging the tremendous efforts of Borno women, Dr. Falmata appealed to parents and guardians to ensure girls of school age are enrolled into schools, as well as ensure they desist from drug addiction and substance abuse.
Supporting the less privileged on a day like
Right, we do apologize. That's the much we can go on nationwide. Thank you for your time, because the Presidential Task Force daily briefing just started, so stay tuned.